The night on the deserted planet was silent. The wind moved across the broken rocks and dry sand. The sky above was filled with two pale moons, their cold light falling on the ruins of an old alien city. The air felt heavy, as if the planet itself carried secrets too old to speak. A young human explorer named Daniel walked carefully through the ruins. His boots crunched on the stone ground. His eyes moved from one broken wall to another. He was tired, lost, and alone. His ship had crashed 2 days ago, and he had been searching for food, water, and shelter. Suddenly, he stopped. A sound, a small, soft sound carried by the wind. It was not the growl of an animal. It was not the whistle of air through the ruins. It was something else. It was crying. Daniel froze. His heart began to beat fast. In the middle of this dead planet, someone was crying like a child. He listened again. Yes, a small, broken voice was echoing through the ruins. It was weak, but full of pain. The sound seemed to call out to him. He followed the sound, step by step. His shadow stretched long under the moonlight. The air grew colder as he moved deeper into the ruins. The crying grew louder. Then he heard words. Please. Please fix my mom. She won't stop shaking. Daniel stopped breathing for a moment, his mind filled with questions. Who was this? A child? But how could a child be here? No humans lived on this planet. The ruins were thousands of years old. Still, the voice kept calling. Please, somebody help. My mom won't stop shaking. Daniel's throat went dry. He felt fear, but also something else. A strange pull, like a hidden thread pulling him closer. He stepped into a broken hall. The walls were tall and cracked. Old symbols were carved into the stone. The crying came from the shadows inside. Hello. Daniel's voice was shaky. Who's there? The crying stopped for a moment. Then small glowing eyes looked at him from the dark. Daniel took a step back. The eyes blinked. A small figure stepped out into the pale moonlight. It was a child, but not human. The child's skin was pale blue, glowing faintly like the veins of a firefly. Its head was round with large dark eyes full of tears. The child's clothes were torn, and its small hands shook as it clutched its chest. Daniel could not believe his eyes. An alien child, alive. The child looked up at him. Its lips trembled. Please, you're human. You can help my mom. She won't stop shaking. Daniel felt his legs turn weak. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Your mom. He finally whispered. The child nodded quickly. Its tears fell on the dusty ground. Yes, she's sick. She can't stop shaking. I tried everything. But only a human can help. Daniel felt a cold wave pass through him. How could this child know what a human was? Why was it saying only he could help? He looked around. The ruins were silent again. No other life, only this small, desperate child. Where is your mom? Daniel asked softly. The child grabbed his hand with surprising strength. Its skin felt warm and alive. Come, hurry, please. Before it's too late. Daniel's body resisted. His mind screamed not to follow. But something. In the child's voice, something in its eyes broke through his fear. He followed. They moved through narrow halls of stone, past broken statues and fallen doors. Strange carvings glowed faintly on the walls, as if the ruins themselves were alive. Daniel's heart raced faster with every step. Finally, the child led him into a wide chamber. The air inside was thick and heavy. On the floor, lying on old stone, was the alien mother. She was tall, her body thin and shining faintly blue like her child. But her whole form trembled violently. Her arms shook. Her chest rose and fell in broken gasps, and her eyes rolled back as if she was caught between life and death. Daniel felt his stomach twist. He had never seen anything like it. The child fell beside her, crying. "Please, Mom, please stay. He's here now. The human is here." The alien mother's shaking grew worse. Her fingers dug into the stone until cracks spread across the floor. Her veins glowed brighter, pulsing like fire under her skin. Daniel's fear deepened. He had no medical kit, no tools, no way to help. He was just a lost explorer, struggling to survive. How could he fix this? But then the mother's eyes opened for a brief second. Her gaze locked on him, and in a voice that was broken and weak, she whispered something. It was not alien language. It was almost human. "Help. Lifeline." Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The word echoed in his head. "Lifeline." The child looked at him with wide, desperate eyes. "Please, you're the only one who can save her. If you don't, she will die tonight." Daniel stood frozen. His heart pounded. The ruins seemed to close in around him. The mother shook violently, her body glowing brighter. The child screamed in fear. And Daniel realized one thing. Whatever was happening here, T could no longer walk away. The chamber was filled with a strange glow. The alien mother lay on the stone floor, her body trembling as if something inside her was breaking free. Glowing veins pulsed faster, lighting up the walls with blue flashes. Daniel stood frozen. His mind was shouting at him to run, but his feet stayed planted. The child held his arm tightly, eyes wet with tears. "She will not last much longer," the child whispered. "You must help her now." Daniel shook his head. I don't know how. I'm not a doctor. I'm not even supposed to be here." The child looked at him with wide eyes full of fear and hope. "You are human. That is enough." Daniel's stomach turned. Why did this alien child believe that only a human could help? He wanted to ask, but before he could, the mother's body convulsed violently. Her arms flung outward, her nails cutting lines into the stone floor. A strange sound came from her throat, a sound that was not a scream, not a growl, but something deep, broken, and old. Daniel felt his chest tighten. The sound was pulling at him. His hands trembled as if invisible strings were tied to his body. The mother's eyes shot open. They glowed a deep blue, brighter than the moons outside. She stared at Daniel. For a moment, time itself felt heavy and slow. Her lips moved. One word. "Lifeline." Daniel's breath caught. The same word she had spoken before. The word that made no sense, but also felt like it was meant only for him. The child cried out and leaned closer to her. "Hold on, Mom, please. He's here now. He will save you." The mother's body shook harder. Dust rained down from the ceiling. The air grew colder, like a storm was building inside the chamber. Daniel's skin prickled. He had never felt fear like this before, but also something else. His own hands started to tingle. He looked down. His palms were glowing faintly, a soft golden light pushing out from under his skin. Daniel stumbled back, staring in horror. "What's happening to me?" The child's eyes lit up with sudden hope. "It is beginning. You are the one. You are the lifeline." Daniel shook his head violently. No, this isn't real. I can't be. I don't even understand what's happening." The mother's shaking reached its peak. Her body bent upward, her back arching unnaturally. The stone beneath her cracked. Blue fire seemed to crawl up her veins, as if something was burning her alive from the inside. Then Daniel heard it whispers, not from the child, not from the mother, but inside his own head. Voices, many voices. Old, heavy, broken, but clear. The bond must be restored. The lifeline must return. Human blood remembers. Daniel gasped and clutched his head. The voices echoed like thunder inside his skull. His knees grew weak. The chamber spun around him. The child grabbed his shirt and pulled him closer. You must touch her. Only then can she stop shaking. Daniel stared at the trembling alien mother. His heart pounded so loud it hurt his ears. His instincts screamed that touching her could kill him. But if he didn't, she would die. And deep inside, he already knew the truth. His glowing hands were not a mistake. He stepped forward slowly, every part of him trembling. He knelt beside the mother. Her face was twisted in pain, her teeth clenched, her breath broken. "I don't know if this will work," he whispered. The child's voice shook. "It will. Please. Hurry." Daniel reached out. His hand hovered above her chest. The glow from his skin grew brighter, golden against her blue. He took a breath, closed his eyes, and pressed his hand against her. The world exploded in light. A sharp shock ran through his arm like lightning. His body stiffened. His vision went white. He tried to pull away, but something held him there. His hand was locked against her chest. The mother gasped. Her body arched higher. The shaking grew wild, then slowed. The glow of her veins steadied. Daniel's mind filled with images. Flashes of another time, another place. Humans and aliens walking side by side, hands reaching across stars. Blood mixing with light. A bond older than memory. Then silence. Daniel pulled his hand back, panting heavily. Sweat dripped down his face. His chest burned as if he had given a part of himself away. The mother lay still, her shaking slowed but not gone, her eyes half opened. She looked at him with deep sorrow and whispered in broken human words, "You are the last. Lifeline." Daniel's body went cold. He didn't know what she meant. He didn't know why his hands glowed. But one thing was certain, he was trapped in something far bigger than himself. The child hugged him suddenly, sobbing with relief. You saved her. For now, but the shadows will come back. They will not let her live. Daniel froze. Shadows. What shadows? The child looked at the cracked ceiling. The glow in its eyes dimmed with fear. They are watching even now, the child whispered. And they will come tonight. Daniel's heart dropped. The ruined chamber suddenly felt darker, colder. He could feel it now, ties in the shadows. The ruins were quiet, but the silence was not peaceful. It was heavy, as if the stones themselves were holding their breath. Daniel sat against a cracked pillar, his chest rising and falling quickly. His hand still glowed, faintly, golden light, pulsing beneath his skin. Across from him, the alien mother lay weak, her body calmer, but not healed. The child knelt beside her, wiping the tears from its face. You kept her alive, the child whispered, but the bond has only begun. Daniel looked down at his hand, his heart racing. What bond? What's happening to me? Why did my blood, my body, react to her? The child's dark eyes shimmered with fear. Because it remembers. Daniel frowned. Remembers what? The child hesitated, then leaned closer. Long ago, before the ruins, before the shadows, our people and humans were not strangers. We were one. Daniel shook his head. That's impossible. Humans have never been here. We only found this planet a few years ago. The child placed a small hand on his wrist. You don't understand. Your blood remembers what your mind has forgotten. You are the lifeline. Without you, my mother will die. Daniel felt a cold shiver run down his spine. He wanted to deny it, but he couldn't. Ignore the truth. His glowing hands, the mother's whispers. The strange voices in his head, they all pointed to something older, something hidden deep inside him. He touched his chest. His heart still burned as if carrying fire. What is inside me? Muttered. Mother stirred weakly. Her cracked voice filled the chamber. A thread between worlds. Her words were broken, but Daniel understood enough to feel dread. The child whispered, "Your blood is the key. It can awaken her strength or destroy her completely." Daniel's stomach twisted. His blood was not just his own anymore. It was something shared, something dangerous. He stood up, pacing the chamber. "This doesn't make sense. I'm not special. I'm just a lost explorer. I came here by accident." The child's eyes followed him. "Accidents do not exist here. The ruins called you. The shadows let you survive the crash. You were chosen." Daniel turned sharply. "Chosen? By who?" The child didn't answer. It only looked at its mother, whose body trembled slightly, as if fighting something inside. Daniel clenched his fists. His veins glowed faintly under his skin. His breath grew heavy. He could feel it now, something moving in his blood. Something alive. He leaned against the wall, gasping. His vision blurred. Suddenly, the world shifted. He saw flashes again. Not dreams. Memories that weren't his. Humans standing beside blue-skinned aliens, sharing hands that glowed with the same golden light. Cities of shining towers built by both races together. Dark shadows sweeping across the skies, burning everything in their path. And a promise spoken long ago. When the shadows return, the Lifeline must awaken. Daniel snapped back. To the present, his body shaking. Sweat poured down his face. His hands burned like fire. The child rushed to him. "You saw it, didn't you?" Daniel's voice trembled. I saw people. My people. With yours. Fighting something together. But how? How could humans be part of this?" The child's voice dropped to a whisper. "Because humans and my kind are bound by the same thread. It runs through your blood. That is why only you can save her." To Daniel's mind spun. None of this was possible. Yet his body told him it was true. The mother groaned, her voice weak but sharp. "Shadows, coming tonight." Daniel turned to her quickly. "What are the shadows? Why are they after you?" The mother's body shook harder, her hands clawing at the stone. "They feed, they take. They will not stop until the lifeline is broken." The child grabbed Daniel's arm, eyes wide with terror. "They know you are here. They can feel the bond now. They will hunt you, too." Daniel's breath grew cold. He looked at his glowing hands, then at the trembling mother. He wasn't just trapped anymore. He was marked. The shadows were coming for all of them. The chamber grew darker. The faint glow from the carvings on the walls flickered, like candles being blown out. The air felt thick, heavy, alive with something unseen. Daniel swallowed hard. He whispered. "They're already here, aren't they?" The child nodded slowly, clutching his sleeve. "Yes, they smell your blood, and they will not rest until they drink it." Daniel's heart pounded so hard it hurt. His body was shaking now, not from fear alone, but from something deeper. His blood was awake, alive, calling to the very things that wanted to destroy him. He looked at the mother, then at the child. For the first time, he realized the truth. This was no accident. The shadows weren't just hunting them, they were hunting him. The ruins grew colder as night spread across the dead planet. The two moons hid behind clouds of dust, and the world sank into shadows. The silence was no longer empty, was sharp, waiting, breathing. Daniel sat near the chamber's entrance, his back against the wall. He held a broken piece of metal. From his crashed ship, the closest thing he had to a weapon. His glowing hands had dimmed. But the fire inside his blood still burned. The alien child sat beside its mother, whispering soft words in a language Daniel could not understand. The mother's body trembled weakly, but her eyes stayed half open, always watching. Daniel whispered, "Are they coming?" The child nodded slowly. Its voice was low and flat. The shadows always come when the moons hide. They can smell fear. They can taste light. Daniel gripped the metal shard tighter. His stomach twisted. What do they want with her? Why attack her? The child looked at him, tears forming again. Because she carries the bond. Because you touched her. Now they want you to. Daniel felt his blood run cold. He wanted to believe it was just fear, just stories. But the air around him was changing, a sound, at first faint, like dry leaves dragging across stone, then louder, a scraping, a whisper, 1,000 tiny claws scratching the walls. Daniel's chest tightened. He rose slowly, scanning the darkness beyond the chamber. "Stay behind me," he whispered. The child clutched his arm. "You cannot fight them with metal. They are not flesh. They are hunger." The sound grew. The walls seemed to breathe. The carvings on the stone dimmed until they were nearly gone. The chamber became a cage of blackness. Then dash movement, a shape, slid across the entrance. Black smoke, but thick, alive, crawling like liquid. Eyes glowed faintly inside it, not red, not blue, but empty white, like holes torn in reality. Daniel stepped back, his heart racing. He raised the metal shard, though his hands trembled. What? What are they?" The child whispered one word. The unseen. The shadow moved forward. It did not walk. It flowed. It slid along the ground, the walls, the ceiling, as if it was part of the stone itself. Its whispering voice filled the chamber. "Lifeline. We smell you. We drink you." Daniel's skin crawled. The voice wasn't outside. It was inside his head. He stumbled back, gasping. His blood felt hot, almost boiling. His veins glowed. Again through his skin. The mother groaned, her voice weak but urgent. "Do not let them touch you." Daniel's breath came fast. He raised the shard high as the shadow lunged. The metal passed straight through, cutting nothing. Shape only split and swirled, then closed again. The child screamed, "No, you can't cut them. You must burn them with the bond." Daniel looked at his hands. Golden light flickered, weak but alive. His chest pounded with fear. Could his blood, his strange, cursed blood, really fight this thing? The shadow swirled around him, its whisper louder. "Give us your light. Let us drink your blood." Daniel gritted his teeth. He thrust out his glowing hand. The golden light flared brighter. The shadow recoiled, screeching. Its shape twisted violently, as if the light burned it. The child shouted, "Yes, again, use it." Daniel pushed forward with both hands. His glow spread across the chamber like fire. Hush! The shadow shrieked, pulling back, but more shapes slid in. From the cracks of the ruins, 5, 6, then 10. All whispering, all hungry. The chamber filled with black smoke, swirling and circling. The mother shook violently again, as if the creature's presence was tearing her apart. Daniel shouted over. "The noise, there are too many." The child clung to him, eyes wide with terror. "Then you must choose. Either you run or you fight until the end." Daniel's body shook. He could feel the light draining him, his strength slipping away. Every time his glow flared, his heart burned hotter, as if he was tearing himself open. The shadows circled closer. Their whispers grew sharper. "Lifeline, break. Break." Daniel's vision blurred. He stumbled, barely standing. The child screamed his name. Then something inside him snapped. The golden light burst from his body, not just his hands. His chest, his eyes, even his veins blazed. The chamber lit up like a small sun. The shadows shrieked in unison. Forms twisted, burning in the light. They melted into the cracks of the stone, retreating, leaving behind a choking smell like burned ash. Silence returned. Daniel collapsed to his knees, panting, his vision spinning. The glow faded, leaving only darkness and dust. The child rushed to him, holding his arm. "You did it. You pushed them back." Daniel coughed, his throat dry. "For now, but they'll be back." The mother opened her eyes weakly. Her voice was faint, but clear. "They will return, stronger. They always return." Daniel looked at his hands, now dim and shaking. He whispered, "How long? How long can I fight them?" The child's eyes filled with sorrow. "Until the bond breaks. Or until you do." Daniel felt the weight of those words sink deep into his chest. He was no longer just an explorer. He was a target, a weapon, a lifeline, and the shadows would never stop hunting him. The chamber smelled of ash and cold stone. The whispers had gone quiet, but Daniel knew the silence would not last. Shadows never left for long. They always returned hungrier. He leaned against the wall, chest heaving, his hands trembling. The golden glow in his veins had faded to a weak flicker. His whole body felt hollow, like someone had drained the strength out of him. The child stayed close, watching him with wide, fearful eyes. "You gave too much," it whispered. "The bond eats at you. If you give too much again, you will break." Daniel tried to steady his breath. His throat was dry, his body shaking. "I didn't have a choice. They were going to take all of us." The mother stirred weakly. Her voice was faint, carried on shallow breaths. "Lifeline, not endless. Every light burns." Daniel closed his eyes. He felt it. The truth of her words lived in his bones. Every time he used the light, it didn't just fight the shadows, it tore something out of him. His life was the fuel. His blood was the fire. But if he stopped, the mother would die. And if she died, the child would be left alone. He clenched his fists, even though his hands shook. "I won't stop, not while you're still alive." The child reached out and touched his arm. Its small hand was warm, but its eyes held sorrow. "If you keep burning, there will be nothing left of you. And then, I will lose you too." Daniel opened his mouth to reply, but before he could, he felt it. A cold wind swept through the chamber. The air grew sharp, slicing like knives. The faint carvings on the walls dimmed again. The silence cracked. The shadows were back. Daniel's heart sank. He had no strength left to fight. His hands glowed only faintly, weak and broken. The child's grip on him tightened. They returned faster each time. They smell weakness. They know you are breaking. From the cracks of the ruins, the black smoke poured out again. Shapes twisted and curled, their hollow white eyes glaring. The whispers returned, louder, sharper. "Lifeline. Fading. Give us the last drop." Daniel forced himself to stand. Though his legs shook under his weight, he raised his hands, but the light barely flickered. His chest burned with emptiness. One shadow lunged, slamming into him. Cold spread across his body. He gasped, falling to his knees. He felt it something pulling inside him. His blood, his life. The shadow was drinking it. The child screamed. No. Daniel tried to push it back, but the glow from his hands sputtered and died. The shadow pressed closer, sinking into his skin. His veins turned dark. His body trembled violently. He felt himself slipping away. His vision blurred. His heartbeat slowed. "This is it," he thought. "This is where I break." But then something else happened. The child stood. Its eyes blazed with sudden light, brighter than before. Its small body trembled, not with fear, but with power. "Enough!" the child shouted. Its voice echoed like thunder. Daniel looked up weakly. For the first time, the child's skin glowed not soft blue, but blinding white. Its hands burned with fire, a fire that was not human, not alien. It was something older. The shadows froze. Their whispers faltered. The child raised its hands. "You cannot drink him. His blood is not yours." A burst of energy exploded from the child's body, filling the chamber with blinding light. The shadows shrieked, twisting violently. They tore back into the cracks, vanishing into the ruins like smoke blown away by a storm. Silence fell again. Daniel collapsed to the floor, panting. His veins slowly returned to normal, though his body felt broken and weak. He turned his head, staring at the child in shock. "You," he whispered. "What did you just do?" The child looked down, breathing hard. The glow faded slowly from its body. Its voice trembled. "I wasn't supposed to show you. My mother wanted it hidden, but I couldn't let them take you." Daniel forced himself up onto his elbows. "You have power. It's the same as me." The child shook its head. "No, not the same. Yours comes from the bond. Mine comes from what I am." Daniel frowned, confused. "What you are?" The child's eyes filled with tears again. "I am not only her child. I am something more. Something made, not born." Daniel froze. His heart pounded. Made? By who? The child looked away, ashamed. "By the bond itself. I was created to protect her, to protect the last of our kind. But I am not enough. Without you, without the lifeline, she will still die." Daniel sat in silence, his mind spinning. The child was not just a frightened survivor, it was a key. A weapon, maybe even a secret the shadows feared. But even with the child's power, the truth was clear. Daniel was breaking. Every fight drained him more. Every use of the bond tore at his life. He looked at his trembling hands. The golden glow flickered weakly, like a candle in the wind. He whispered to himself, "How much longer can I hold on?" The mother opened her eyes, her voice fragile but sharp. "Until you decide to give everything." Daniel's blood ran cold. He stared at her. The child stared too, silent, afraid. And in the heavy air of the ruins, Daniel finally understood. The bond was not about sharing life, it was about sacrifice, and soon he would have to make a choice. The ruins were quiet, but the silence was not peace. It was the silence of something waiting. The mother lay weak on the stone floor, her body trembling like a candle in the wind. The child knelt beside her, eyes wet with tears, whispering soft words. Daniel sat against the wall, his hands shaking, his breath uneven. His veins glowed faintly, the golden light weak and broken. He felt hollow, like he had left part of himself behind in the last fight. He looked at the mother. Her skin glowed faintly blue, her chest rising and falling with painful effort. Every breath seemed to cost her more strength. Daniel's throat was dry. "She doesn't have much time, does she?" The child shook its head slowly. Its small voice cracked. "No. The bond keeps her alive for now, but soon it will break. Unless," Daniel's heart tightened, "unless I give more." The child looked down. It did not answer, but silence was answer enough. Daniel leaned back, closing his eyes. His body burned, but not from the shadows this time. It burned with the truth. The bond was not endless. Each time he used it, he gave away a piece of himself. If he gave too much, there would be nothing left. The mother's eyes fluttered open. Her voice was weak, but clear. "Lifeline?" You cannot run. The choice must be made. Daniel stared at her, his jaw tight. What choice? To die for someone I don't even know. To bleed out until there's nothing left of me. The mother coughed, her whole body trembling. It is not death, it is return. The thread between us was always one. You carry what we lost. We carry what you forgot. Her words cut deep, but he didn't fully understand. The child grabbed his arm suddenly, eyes wide and desperate. If you give her your life, she will awaken. She will destroy the shadows. She will save us both. But if you don't, the child's voice broke. She will die, and I will be alone. Daniel's chest tightened. He looked at the child's face, innocent, broken, but still burning with hope. He looked at the mother, weak, fragile, but carrying some secret connection to him, to his blood. He turned away, staring into the dark corners of the chamber. The shadows weren't gone. He could feel them moving, waiting just beyond sight. If he refused, they would devour everything. He whispered to himself, "Why me? Why was I chosen?" The child answered softly, as if hearing his thought. Because your blood remembers, because you are the last lifeline. Daniel's heart pounded, his palms burned with faint light. He felt the choice pressing on him like a weight too heavy to carry. If he gave his life, maybe the mother would awaken with power enough to end the shadows. But he would not survive. If he refused, she would die. The bond would break. And the shadows would consume both the child and him. There was no path without loss. The mother stirred again, her voice weak but sharp. Do not fear sacrifice. Fear forgetting why it must be made. Daniel clenched his fists. He wanted to fight it. He wanted to say no. But the image of the child alone, crying in the ruins, tore through him like a blade. He knelt beside the mother. His hands shook as he placed them over her chest again. The glow inside him flared brighter, as if answering his decision. The child gasped, eyes wide. You're going to do it. Daniel looked at the child with tired eyes. The tired. If I don't, there will be nothing left for any of us. The glow spread, golden veins crawling across his arms, his chest, his face. His whole body began to burn with light. Pain surged through him, sharp and endless. His breath came in ragged gasps. The mother's body arched as the bond poured into her. Her shaking slowed, her breathing grew steadier. The blue glow of her veins brightened. But Daniel felt himself fading. His heartbeat slowed. His vision dimmed. His strength poured out of him like water spilling onto the ground. The child cried out, grabbing his arm. Stop, please, stop. You'll die. Daniel managed a weak smile. Maybe that's the point. The mother's eyes snapped open suddenly. Her body glowed brighter, her chest rising strong. She looked at Daniel with sorrow and awe. You give more than I deserve, she whispered. But the thread must not break with you. Daniel's body collapsed to the floor. His glow flickered weakly, almost gone. He lay still, his breath shallow. The chamber trembled. The ruins shook. In the distance, the whispers of the shadows grew louder, angrier. They were coming back, and Daniel was nearly gone. The ruins shook as if the planet itself had awakened. Dust rained down from the ceiling. Cracks split across the stone floor. The whispers returned, louder than before, filling every corner of the chamber. Lifeline, break, bleed, fade. The shadows came pouring through the cracks, twisting smoke with hollow white eyes. Dozens of them. More than Daniel had ever seen. He lay on the ground, his body glowing faintly, his breath weak. The bond had nearly drained him dry. Every heartbeat was slow, painful. His vision blurred, fading in and out like a dying flame. Beside him, the child screamed his name, clutching his arm. "Please, don't leave. Please, stay." Daniel tried to speak, but only a whisper left his lips. "I'm still here, for now." The mother rose slowly from the stone. Her body no longer trembled. Her eyes blazed bright blue, burning like two stars. The shaking had stopped. She stood taller, stronger, her glow flooding the chamber with light. The shadows hissed and recoiled, their whispers turning to screams. Daniel's eyes opened weakly. He saw her standing, no longer broken, no longer weak. For a moment, he thought it was enough that his sacrifice had saved them. But the shadows did not leave. They surged forward, slamming against the chamber walls, circling, waiting for the final moment to strike. The mother looked down at Daniel. Her voice was strong now, but heavy with sorrow. "You gave me your life. I cannot let it end here." Daniel shook his head weakly. "It's too late. The bond. It took everything." The mother knelt beside him, placing her glowing hand over his chest. "Then I will return what you gave. Lifeline cannot die. Not while the shadows remain." Her light poured into him. It was different from before, not golden, but deep blue, cold, and burning at once. Daniel gasped as energy surged through his veins. His body arched, his chest blazing with light. His golden glow returned, mixing with hers. The chamber filled with two lights, golden blue, weaving together like fire and water. The shadows screamed in unison, their shapes twisting violently. "Too much light, break the bond. Break it now." Daniel rose slowly to his feet. His body trembled, but his eyes burned with new strength. He looked at the child, who stared at him with hope and fear. He whispered, "Stay behind me." The mother stood beside him, her body blazing brighter than ever. "Together, Lifeline, we end this." The shadows surged forward, a black tide of hunger. They slammed into the chamber, crawling over walls and ceiling, filling the air like a storm. Daniel raised his hands. The golden light flared, stronger than before. The mother raised hers, blue fire streaming from her veins. Their lights met, twisted, and merged into one. Gold and blue became white. A beam of pure light exploded from them, ripping through the chamber. The shadows shrieked, their bodies melting like smoke under fire. One by one, they tore apart, their whispers breaking into screams. Then silence. The ruins shook harder. The ground split. The shadows fled into the cracks, burning as they went. The last of them screeched and vanished into nothing. Silence, only the sound of Daniel's heavy breathing remained. His hands still glowed faintly, but his strength was nearly gone again. He fell to his knees, the light fading from his body. "It's over," the mother touched his shoulder gently. "For now, but they will always return. Shadows cannot be destroyed, only pushed away." Daniel lowered his head. His chest ached, his body weak. He felt the truth in her words. The fight would never truly end. The child rushed to him, hugging him tightly. "You stayed. You didn't leave me," Daniel managed. A tired smile, his hand resting on the child's head. "I told you, you're not alone anymore." The mother's voice softened. "Lifeline, you have given more than we deserved. But the bond has marked you. Wherever you go, the shadows will follow. You cannot return to your world." Daniel's heart sank. He looked at the broken ruins, the dead planet, the child's hopeful eyes. He thought of home, of the sky he would never see again. Then he nodded slowly. "Then I stay. If this is my place now, I'll fight as long as I can." The mother bowed her head, her voice almost a whisper. "Then hope still lives." Daniel looked at the child again. We'll make it, together. The child's tears shimmered in the glow. For the first time, they were not only tears of fear, they were tears of hope. Outside, the dust clouds parted. The moons shone down on the ruins, their pale light touching the broken stone. For a moment, the world looked less dead. Daniel sat with the child in his arms, the mother standing guard beside them. He was broken, but alive. Weak, but burning. The shadows were gone for now, but deep in the cracks of the ruins, in the places where light never touched, whispers still stirred. Lifeline, lifeline. And Daniel knew his battle was not over. It had only begun.